Guess what we learned today at school?
What did you learn?
We learned about how the Earth went around the sun.
Do you want to tell them the truth?
Yeah. So first, God set the Earth on its foundation. It can never be moved. So how does it go around the sun? Second, God is enthroned above the circle. Yes, it is a circle, but not around like a ball. He's enthroned above the circle of the Earth. Third, in Revelations, it says that there are 4 corners of the Earth. Now, tell me, how can there be 4 corners of a round ball? Okay, fourth, God created a firmament, split the waters above and below. And let me tell you this, NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. All this was about was question everything.
If this doesn't wake you up to NASA's lies, then nothing will. They're trying to tell us that this is a picture of the moon from out in space. Let's take a closer look at this imagery here. Tell me this doesn't look like some kind of a green screen overlay or something they just copied and pasted onto this picture. Look at the way this green edge is popping up in here. I have so much evidence of the BS in this that it never ends, you guys. They tell us that we have the dark side of the moon because it's rotating as it spins around us and we're only seeing one side. That's why we're only seeing one side of the moon? Really? Really, guys. Do not forget that they burn $25 billion US a year on NASA.
Let's look at the photo. You say that's me? Okay, check out the name badge. It says Aldrin. Looks like you're right. But notice the helmet. Can you see my face? No. This is a secret I've been keeping for almost half a century. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and I pulled off humanity's first extraterrestrial prank.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest? It didn't happen. It could have been scary.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know what I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen.
Just when you think you've heard it all, you hear about another moon landing hoax story. These astronauts, they're shown not wearing their helmets in this picture. Looks like the moon that they're on here, right? Well, thanks to the fact checkers, they cleared it all up for us and they explained that the photo is authentic, but not taken on the surface of the moon, which coincidentally enough, they took this just a few weeks before they allegedly went on the moon for Apollo 16 for a training exercise. You really got to ask yourself, when they can generate images like this that look an awful lot like these guys are on the moon, it makes you wonder and question if this whole thing really could be staged, whether it was or not. Could it have been staged? But thanks to the fact checkers, they cleared all this up, you guys. Just a couple months after they staged this picture, they went ahead and went to the moon where they wore their helmets.
If you would have told me even a year ago that I would one day be a flat earther, I would have laughed at you so hard. But over the past few months, my world has changed. My flat world. As has the whole world itself, in many, many ways. But if you haven't noticed lately, people are beginning to open their eyes. Fresh off the heels of accusations to NASA that they have been faking and fraudulently sharing videos of the ISS using green screens and harnesses and invisible wires to fake footage that is actually filmed in a pool, along with recent proof that the moon landing never happened. Buzz Aldrin himself has even said, hey, that didn't happen. We filmed it right here in a studio, safely with feet on the earth. The Bible states clearly there's a firmament above us, an impenetrable dome. In fact, it is so important it is right there on page 1 of the Bible. God created a firmament above the earth from Admiral Byrd's discovery down by the South Pole. Admiral Byrd discovered land, lots of land, undiscovered land, down by Antarctica. But sadly, after his television interview explaining this, Byrd passed away. A year later, NASA was formed. A year after that, the Antarctic Treaty was signed by all 12 countries, making exploration impossible. Well, that seems suspicious. There is not one single reference in the Bible that the earth is round, but there are references to things such as, and I placed the earth on its foundation. You can't really put a foundation on a sphere. The 4 corners of earth are mentioned multiple times. I don't care how many times I spin a tennis ball, I cannot find 4 corners on it. But when I say I discovered something in Book of Enoch, that just might clear all of this up and answer our questions right now. Chapter 27, God said to Enoch, as he was explaining and describing how he created the earth, and I commanded that there should be taken from light and darkness, and I said, be thick. And it became thus, and I spread it out with the light, and it became water. And I spread it out over the darkness, below the light. And then I made firm the waters, that is to say the bottomless, and I made foundation of light around the water, and created 7 circles from inside. And imagined the water like crystal, wet and dry, that is to say like glass. Well, I don't know about you, but that's a really good way to describe ice. Wet and dry water, like glass. Chapter 28. And then I made firm the heavenly circle. I collected the sea in one place and bound it together with a yoke. And I said to the sea, behold, I give you your eternal limits, and you shall not break loose from your component part. He clearly told Enoch he made 7 circles of ice to keep the waters of earth within. And I think now we have our answer.
They mock us with the truth.
Well, yeah, people come out and they've run out of anecdotes, you know, and they just start making stuff up. Yeah. Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story.
Yeah.
Man, and they're buying it.
Oh, yeah.
Cerebral, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Gentlemen. Mr. Cerebral.
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Cerebral, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible. You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Please
I have the tape.
It'd be fine.
Why don't you swear to? Why not? Why won't you do it? So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Truths available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
What the fuck does that mean? I mean, what? You're supposed to say, "Yo, I went to the moon, bitch." You're not supposed to say breakthroughs. That
maybe he's giving it away.
Truth protective layers. Like, I don't even understand what that means.
All right, grab the remote while it's charging. Set the remote down. And set it down. So if you're using your phone while charging it, you're going to want to see this. So right now, the phone isn't putting off any EMF, but look when it's charging. Right there, where it's right in the palm of your hand, it's going to be putting off the highest amounts of voltage. Unplug the charger.
Today we're going to show you why you shouldn't leave your chargers plugged in.
I've heard this before.
So as you can see, there's power in there.
Yep. Oh, when your chargers...
Now, you plug in your phone. There's power in there, how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
But if someone is talking on the phone while the phone is charging, the electric waves will come to your body.
Time-lapse cameras were used in a standard first-grade classroom, and several hyperactive children may be noted, especially the boy in the immediate foreground. 90 days after, the regular cool white fluorescent tubes were replaced with the new type full-spectrum fluorescent tubes with radiation shields, there was a marked improvement noted, and the extremely hyperactive boy has voluntarily moved up to the front row. He raises his hand for recognition and is now up at the blackboard taking part in classroom activities. Prior to the time that this new lighting was installed, this particular boy had an extreme learning disability problem, but quickly learned to read within 90 days after the new lights were installed. There was further noted a general average improvement in both the behavior and academic achievement of the entire class. The implications of the biological effects of light and radiation, as observed through time-lapse photography, are obvious.
Right here at Home Depot, they have this device, the so-called future. We're here for something extremely serious. Are you feeling headaches, sick, or something in your house? You might have to do with this. Look at these levels. 0.4 EMF, around 300 radio frequency, and 11 electrical frequency. Look at that. Look at the EMF on the top left. You're supposed to have a max of 0.2. We're going 8 times the value there, 9 times the value, and just jump up and down. Look at those EMF here. We're talking about like over 40 times the value on this one. I think this one is reading the highest EMF readings, guys. 9.8 peaks. I saw a peak of 0.10. We're talking about 50 times over the value of 0.10, guys.
What I've done is I've taken one of the newer iPhones, which is notorious for having a lot of cell phone radiation, and I'm going to put it up against tri-field meter to show how much electric field radiation is coming out, how much radio frequency radiation is coming out. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. You'll see over here, down here on the right, it says high, and that number, 484.9 milliwatts per square meter, that is radio frequency radiation, and that is about 50 times higher than normal. 10 is considered safe, 50 is of course, or 550 times higher than that. Also check out the electric field radiation at 180 volts per meter. Now, healthy, safe is considered at about 10 volts per meter. So watch what happens. We're just going to let this run, and it goes up to 500 milliwatts per square meter.
I want to tell my story of how I went from looking like this to looking like this. Even at a younger age, I never really got in that great of shape. I simply couldn't keep up with the amount of toxins that I was dumping down my throat. Later in life, I didn't drink or do drugs, but instead overate toxic food. I was overweight, malnourished, and little did I know I was destroying my body from within. Then going into my 30s, I got the wake-up call. First, I started losing my hair. Even though society says this is normal, I knew it was not. It was a warning sign from my body that I inadvertently ignored. I destroyed my gut, overused carbs and sugars, and eczema took over my entire body. Then I lost my eyesight and I was required to wear glasses. I cut down on the amounts and I lost some weight, but I was still eating a lot of sugar. My symptoms only continued to worsen even though I had lost the weight. On top of all this, I had to have 4 teeth pulled out, 4 more filled in with toxic mercury metal, and was constantly dealing with cavities and tartar buildup. Then the neurological disorders kicked in. I was experiencing some of the craziest brain fog and wasn't correlating it to my diet. I had developed peripheral neuropathy and diabetes at the age of 30. I started to research like my life depended on it because I knew Big Pharma wasn't going to save me. Then within weeks, my body started to change. But it wasn't only my body, it was my mind and spirit as well. I hadn't even gone to the gym. I continued doing the things that I love with my kids. The same things I'd love to do all my life, just without the refined toxic foods. My symptoms stopped dead in their tracks, and I was even able to start reversing some. I even got my eyesight back and was able to ditch the glasses. I refused to give up the things I love and become a disease. I was looking at my deathbed, and now I'm able to enjoy the things I love with my kids. There's no question this all happened to me because I used food as a drug, and we're tricked into thinking that these foods are normal to eat, but little do we know what's going on inside of our bodies. And this world is full of tricks and treats. And to be careful, because if you overeat toxic foods, it can and or will catch up to you. I know this is not a coincidence, and I've helped many others as well. I know that it was designed this way. Now I've given up all my fun things in life and dedicated myself to helping others.
Lovers are being warned about the chemicals they could be releasing into people's homes.
Scientists say toxic particles are going straight into the lungs, and the makers don't have to declare what chemicals they're using.
The sweet smell of scented candles. The packaging says they add atmosphere, improve our mood and relieve stress. But scientists warn they do more than that.
When we burn during the combustion process, as it will be incomplete, we will have a lot of little particulates that are being released, and many of them are going directly to our lungs.
Experts are concerned about what goes into not just scented candles, but air fresheners, deodorizers, room sprays and diffusers as well. They all release a mix of chemicals which manufacturers aren't obliged to disclose. This room spray contains 60% alcohol, but the remaining 40% is unlisted.
We can have like a lot of chemicals. Much more are being released once they are burned or emitted.
People are sensitive to fragranced products with adverse health effects, including asthma and headaches. Still, the global home fragrance market has exploded and is expected to grow from $9.9 billion to $13 billion by 2026.
One of the major misconceptions is if something is natural, that it's good for us.
The advice: use candles sparingly, opt for soy or beeswax candles where possible, and only burn them in a well-ventilated home. Samantha Heathwood, 7 News.
So it appears that the general public is still not fully informed on how toxic this citric acid truly is. So let's head over to your government's biotech website and see how they expose their own FDA. Here your government explains how citric acid is found in nature. However, 99% of it is carried out using Aspergillus niger. Let's take a look at what Aspergillus niger truly is. Horrifyingly, here they explain plain as day that the manufactured citric acid that is found in your manufactured foods is a mutant strain of the black mold Aspergillus niger. Here they explain how we've been tricked into thinking that the citric acid that is in your toxic foods is coming from lemons and limes. However, it's misleading because the citric acid that they're adding to our foods is coming from black mold. Here they expose their own FDA, saying that manufactured citric acid is under the category as generally recognized as safe without any research to substantiate the claim. Let's read it out loud here. Thus, MCA was considered generally recognized as safe and did not undergo any FDA evaluation. MCA is one of the most common additives used today. Here they explain how the black mold version of citric acid is significantly different.
The most popular coffee creamer in the US is banned in other countries because its ingredients increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, obesity, and asthma. Coffee Mate and most popular coffee creamers contain hydrogenated oils, which are an extremely toxic trans fat that food manufacturers use to make their products last longer. In 2015, the FDA announced that removing it from one's diet could prevent thousands of heart attacks each year. And even though trans fat was banned in the US in 2018, some trans fat, like partially hydrogenated oils, can still be found in products like Coffee Mate. And since Coffee Mate lists the serving size as 1 tablespoon, they get away with labeling their creamer as trans fat free.
If you cook with pans, this is one rabbit hole you're going to want to see. So at a glance here, it's pretty much just telling you that it's made of carbon steel, right? But if you look a little closer, you see the old cancer and reproductive harm warning. And you're asking yourself, why would carbon steel just be causing this cancer? You know, this seems like a material that wouldn't be as bad. But then you look a little closer and you see this little sticker here talking about what this pan contains. So reading on here, it says iron, manganese compounds, phosphorus, chromium, copper, nickel compounds, which nickel is not good for you. But the rest of this doesn't seem as horrible, right? But then you ask, what is this PTFE? And they want you to do the work. They want you to scan this little thing and find out how this is so toxic. Well, this PTFE is short for polytetrafluoroethylene, which is a type of plastic chemical composition. A synthetic fluoropolymer. A polymer means plastic, guys. So this is a synthetic type of plastic, and you wonder why things are so good at non-sticking, because you coat it with plastic, and food doesn't stick to plastic. They're saying here, for more information about these chemicals in this product, go to this site. And boy, oh boy, does this rabbit hole get deeper. The 14-inch walk. If you scan this little code, you get to come in here and you get to rabbit hole all of these carcinogenic chemicals that you're being exposed to when you heat up this pan into your food and eat it, bro. What do you got here? Priority chemicals, you've got carcinogens, neurotoxicants. Prop 65, you gotta understand, they're wanting you to rabbit hole this stuff to avoid putting it into your body, because most people will just buy the shit and trust that it's healthy, and they'll go home and start cooking with these pans, and they're toxifying themselves, and it's causing the C word, and people everywhere have the C word. Real quickly, guys, the pans I recommend are going to be real 100% stainless steel or cast iron pans.
Have you ever been down the pink salt rabbit hole? If you haven't, I suggest you check it out. Not only do they use dynamite to blow this pink salt out of this old dead ocean, it also is found to have extremely high levels of heavy metals, lead, arsenic, all of these toxic volatile compounds found in this mountain. Salt is also known to have lots of microplastics. They also tell you that pink salt is healthy because it has all of these minerals. But if you actually go down and research, you learn that only 5% of this salt has any mineral, and if that. The other 95% is literally heavy metals and sodium. It's just salt, guys. It's not actually minerals. It's not actually good for you. There's just a lot better options than this toxic pink salt, such as Jacobsen sea salt. I recommend Jacobsen sea salt because it's tested for the lowest amounts of lead possible, and it's the cleanest salt. They filter for microplastics. They test it for radiation. It comes out of one of the most clean, alive oceans around.
When you wake up and see this world for what it really is, it truly blows your mind. Check out these extremely eye-opening examples of how they throw this stuff right in our face, and they've been subliminally programming us since we were children, bro.
Hey, let's get some ice cream.
How about this one? Pistachio, almond, fruit fudge, butterscotch delight.
Ingredients: zinc trisodium aspartate, sorbitol and bisulfate, oxide beta-carotene, lactic acid carabine. Grade A milk emulsified, maltodextrin alkylide, silicon dioxide, lots of sugar. Hey, all right. Calcified synthetic salt, artificial barley malt, glycerin and aspartate, folic acid. That tastes great.
Monosodium glutamate, dehydrated calciumate, soybean oil, butter, fat, caramel sensor.
I'll eat that.
Hooray for sugar, cause we love it. Chocolate chips, we want more of it. Cakes and ice cream, want to shove it down our throats real fast. Here's a candy bar, you tried it?
Hey, let's all see what's inside it.
Gelatinized triglycerin, phosphate, soybean lecithin, deoxylite, trisilicon, dipped in chocolate.
Bring it on!
Citrus enzymes, BHT, powdered milk. Sounds good to me. Baking soda, carob gum, carbohydrate.
Yummy yum!
Monosodium glutamate, zinc disodium alginate, whole grain flour, yeast and fat.
Time to eat it. I'll do that.
We like sweets a lot, so give us all you got, and we'll stuff them in our bodies till they make our insides rot.
This is an eye-opening demonstration of chemicals in your water. Unfiltered tap water, which we will pour in 2 glasses. OTO chemical, test for chlorine, very sensitive for it. 10 drops. Notice it turning yellow, the evidence of chlorine. No chlorine in this water. Where did that chemical go? While I was testing this glass over 10 seconds, all that chemistry went into my skin and my hands. The evidence is clear. We learned 80,000 unstudied and unregulated chemicals in our top water. This was a very simple and clear example of what happens when you simply take a shower or wash your hands. Those chemicals get absorbed quickly, readily, and completely into our skin, causing all sorts of health issues, from as simple as brittle hair and dry skin to respiratory issues and even cancer.
Just when you let your guard down, you learn that the toilet paper that you've been using your whole life is full of some of the most toxic chemicals on the face of the planet. Let's talk about it. First of all, you really need to ask yourself, what does this toilet paper come from? It comes from wood. What color is wood? It's brown. And then you really should ask yourself, what is this that I'm wiping up inside the most absorbent part of my body? It's called chemical pulp. This is how they make your toilet paper. And how are they making your toilet paper so pretty white? They're using bleach, man. What do you know? They're using formaldehyde. Are we really that surprised? They use some of the most toxic compounds in the planet on all of the products that they got us using in and on our body. Doesn't stop there. They got the PFAS, another toxin to avoid. What the hell are PFAS? They are called forever chemicals. That means they come into our body and they don't leave. We need to understand, when we bioaccumulate these chemicals in our body, it is destruction to our human anatomy. It is destroying our DNA. It is altering everything inside of us, and it is changing us as people in slow but sure, definite ways.
Toilet paper may be a significant source of PFAS in wastewater treatment systems, according to a study by researchers from the University of Florida. The team tested toilet paper products sold in Africa, the Americas, and Europe, as well as sewage samples from 8 wastewater treatment plants in Florida, and found that non-organic toilet paper and products made from recycled fibers were major sources of forever chemicals.
the fact checkers, go check this one out. These studies are all over the place, so it's really just about which website you want to say is legible and which one is not. I really don't care, because when you look this stuff up, it's all around you, and it's really not a surprise. These toxins are at every single angle. You have to pay attention. This is somewhat of a war, not of flesh and blood, but it is a chemical warfare. Like always, I'm going to provide a solution for you. Now, this is not going to be as cheap as your Walmart, Charmin, PFAS, Forever Chemical, super bleached, super soft toilet paper, but this doesn't have 15,000 chemicals or whatever that you're finding in this white, super chemical pulp, bleached, PFAS, Forever Chemical toilet paper. This is the toilet paper that I use. This ingredient is so toxic, they make it easy to expose. Here we have your infamous red dye 40. Let's make sure that we acknowledge the fact that they're dumping 15 million pounds of artificial dyes into our foods each year. Coincidentally enough, red dye 40 makes up 40% of this. If you've ever consumed any of these foods, you have consumed this ingredient. Here we have yet another ingredient that is made from petroleum, and yes, that is the oil that they use to make gasoline. They try to make this confusing, but this is the original red dye 40. Red dye 40 used to be this beautiful, ancient, organic, healthy plant. You'll never guess who banned this healthy plant, saying that it causes cancer. So what could really be better for us than this healthy plant? Apparently the FDA decided that our red food coloring now needed to be made from coal tars instead of a healthy plant. Just to recap, we went from using this healthy cancer-fighting plant to using this toxic cancer-causing ingredient we know today as red dye 40. At this point, we should probably be asking why the hell they are doing this. Why the hell is everything made with petroleum? And why the hell are they putting it in our food? In the chemical department at Walmart, and I'm here to tell you, just walking through here, I feel like I'm catching the C word. These chemicals are so insane that they're putting in and on our bodies that it really is sad. And these chemicals are all carcinogens. Every single one of them, I promise you right now, is some kind of a carcinogen. And this is one of the most toxic parts of the whole store, beside the actual food department that they have right here. I'm here to tell you that they're all literally chemicals, and they're chemicals at different levels, but they're still all poison to the body. And they're getting us on different levels. And I'm here to tell you, I wouldn't even walk down this aisle if you could help it.
I'm right here at Target, and I really can't make shit up right now, guys. Lucky Charms, which the government said that it was better than steak in the food pyramid. Look at this, guys. Besides all the already stuff there, we're looking for the trisodium phosphate. Where is it? Right there. We're going to go to Home Depot right now, and I'm going to show you what that is, guys. But here it is, guys. Really can make it up. Look what trisodium phosphate is. Right here, TSP. Clean surfaces in preparation for painting. It's a paint thinner. It strips painting, guys. Surface is clean without rinsing. Effective deckants. Guys, this is so poisonous. This trisodium phosphate is so poisonous that they have a phosphate-free version for cleaning. And people are putting that in their bodies. I gotta tell you one last thing. You vote when you buy, guys. The food in America is prohibited in like 65 nations plus. The whole European Union doesn't even allow fluoride in their running water. What I'm trying to say is that you vote when you buy. The only reason why we have all this crap in our food in America is because you buy it, guys. Choose your power to buy the healthy food. I know it's not completely safe, but can you only imagine what conventional is like if the one that are supposed to be good is already bad? So do your due diligence, guys. Don't cut short when it comes to your health. Buy the best that you can get. That's when you really, really vote. If you stop buying this crap, they'll stop selling it. They'll start selling what you want.
Woody Harrelson red pill
Instead of buying junk fast foods that have no actual food in them, we buy gallons of poisonous household cleaners when one degradable soft soap will do. We are poisoning our homes and wasting our hard-earned money for no good reason. Why? Because the advertising industry tells us to. They just want you to buy stuff. For example, if a company pollutes the environment or uses bad business practices, if you don't buy their stuff, they will change. If you don't want food with chemicals or GMOs in it, then don't buy it. The minute we start taking responsibility and spending our money wisely, every politician, every corporation, and leader around the world is going to know that we have woken up.
Sunlight reduces the size of internal cancer tumors.
I thought sun causes cancer.
Well,
everybody says stay out of the sun because it causes cancer.
That's right. They did a study at Baylor University where they took two groups of experimental animals. They gave one the standard American diet, which is terrible. They gave the other one a highly nutritious diet. Then they exposed both groups of animals to the ultraviolet rays of the sun. In the group on the standard American diet, 25% got skin cancer. In the group on the highly nutritious diet, not one animal got skin cancer. It's the way we're eating. Skin cancer is a relatively new phenomenon in the last 60 years or so, and yet our ancestors for hundreds of years have been living outdoors, working outdoors, and they didn't get skin cancer. It's a new phenomenon.
Bottled water is the biggest scam of the century.
Studies show that bottled water is the biggest scam of the century, and it can also be dangerous to your health. Studies from Germany show that in addition to the well-known BPA, bottled water can contain over 20,000 other toxic chemicals. Among them is diethylhexyl fumarate, DHF, a chemical that interferes with the work of the human hormonal system. 16 of the 18 samples were found to block androgen receptors in the body by an astounding 90%. We can safely say that not only bottled water, but also plastic as well, is very harmful to our health, as it is very estrogenic. So no wonder some men are starting to feel like women these days. The best water to consume is spring water. If you can find one locally, the better. And make sure to use glass containers. The electrolyzer used in this video tests water quality and impurities, and shows how dirty this water can be.
Look at that. Look what they're doing. This is a British company. This is
not globalist company. I didn't think so anyway. It's completely filled. Completely. Look. It's all graphene. Loads of...
Stop drinking coffee. It doesn't give you energy. The caffeine in coffee increases catecholamines, which is your stress hormones. The stress response then releases cortisol and increases insulin, which increases inflammation, and this makes you feel lousy. This is why you got burnout and afternoon slumps. A good natural source of energy that can combat this is called Dr. Truth's sea moss.
Everything's bigger in America. We've got the biggest cars, the biggest houses, the biggest companies, the biggest food, and finally, the biggest people. America has now become the fattest nation in the world. Congratulations. Nearly 100 million Americans are today either overweight or obese. That's more than 60% of all U.S. adults. Since 1980, the total number of overweight and obese Americans has doubled, with twice as many overweight children and 3 times as many overweight adolescents. The fattest state in America? Mississippi, where 1 in 4 people are obese. I grew up in West Virginia, currently the 2nd fattest state in America. When I was growing up, my mother cooked dinner every single day. Almost all my memories of her are in the kitchen. And we never ate out, only on those few rare special occasions. Today, families do it all the time, and they're paying for it, not only with their wallets, but with their waistlines. Obesity is now second only to smoking as a major cause of preventable death in America, with over 300,000 deaths per year associated with related illnesses. In 2002, a few Americans got fed up with being overweight and did what we do best. They sued the bastards. Taking aim at the fast food companies and blaming them for their obesity and illnesses, a lawsuit was filed in New York on behalf of 2 teenage girls. One who is 14 years old, 4'10" and 170 pounds. The other, 19 years old, 5'6" and 270 pounds. People were suing the Golden Arches for selling them food that most of us know isn't good for you to begin with.
It's about wisdom teeth removal. They don't want you to know. Make sure you watch until the end. So did y'all know that over 95% of wisdom teeth removals are completely unnecessary? And in the last 15 years, this industry has become a multi-billion-dollar industry by just yanking out your wisdom teeth. So here's how it works. Basically, they sit you in a chair and they put you under an x-ray and they show you an image of your teeth growing sideways. But truth is, over 60% of teeth before they come out the gum are sideways, and I admit it does look a bit sketchy on x-ray. But just like me and many other people, your wisdom teeth are going to grow in sideways and then they're going to straighten out, and that's just how it happens naturally. Me personally, I remember Dennis showing me my x-rays one visit and him saying I really should get my wisdom teeth taken out, but I was like, nah, I'm okay. And here it is, years later, and my wisdom teeth grew in perfectly fine.
Did you know you're most likely wearing recycled water bottles? Polyester is literally made of recycled water bottles. The undies, the clothes, the cool Nike athletic jumpsuit, all is made of literally polyester plastics. Then you jump in bed at night, you jump in the polyester sheets with the polyester blankie, the polyester pillowcase, and they literally have you wrapped in plastic 24/7. If you still don't believe me, watch this quick demonstration how they literally turn these melted plastic water bottles into your clothing.
Traditional cotton or linen clothes are so last century. Some of the duds you're rocking right now might actually be made out of recycled bottles. Yes, some of the plastic bottles you drink out of and recycle are reborn as polyester yarn. The fiber is called a reprieve and it's made by a textile manufacturer in North Carolina. After recycling your plastic bottles, they're sorted and chopped into minuscule flakes. The manufacturer turns those flakes into small pellets, which are then melted down and spun into a yarn, ultimately becoming a sustainable fabric. CNN reports some reprieve fiber is made of 100% recycled bottles, while others are mixtures of fiber waste, used fabric, and plastic bottles. You only need 5 plastic bottles to make a t-shirt out of reprieve fabric, while just 7 are required for a pair of pants. And this year, around 400,000 college graduates received their diplomas in Oak Hall graduation gowns, each made up of 27 bottles.
And for those who still don't care, tell me it's a coincidence that this polyester is linked to reduced sperm count, to miscarriages, and infertility? It's very well known that polyester is a direct endocrine system disruptor, and of course the chemicals in polyester disrupt your testosterone production. Tell me these are all coincidences. And of course this rabbit hole continues because you learn that polyester is the same frequency as an unalived human. And organic cotton has a frequency of 110 megahertz, and you learn that wool and linen measures at 5,000 megahertz. They used to wrap people in linen when they were sick to heal them. So what do? I slowly switched out all of my clothing for at least cotton, going from the polyester. I no longer allow the polyester to touch my body. Stop getting tattoos. They're devastating to your body, and I'm going to explain why. Tattoo ink is literally full of toxic heavy metals, PVC plastics, formaldehyde, and more. Yes, there's formaldehyde in the tattoos. You have to ask yourself, when you put all these carcinogens and these toxic substances in your body, what can happen as a result of this? You have to see how they put this stuff. They say that it can increase the risk of cancer,
DNA damage, inflammation, oxidative stress, and weakening the immune function. Tattoos remain popular, but are not without consequential health risks. If you're confused about how millions of people could have these toxic tattoos in society, just look up smoking. The same thing happened. It was cool and normalized, then people started learning that it was unaliving them, and a lot less people smoke now. Did you know the FDA does not approve tattoo ink? Smart move. And did you know that the FDA does not approve tobacco products? Tattoo ink contains titanium dioxide, a bleaching chemical agent. Stabbing this ink into your skin that's full of all these toxins causes systemic inflammation. Tattoo ink will fill your lymphatic system full of heavy metals and carcinogens and plastics because your body is trying to get rid of this, and we trap it in our skin permanently because these compounds are permanent. Plastic is permanent. Petroleum is permanent. These things are all based on petroleum. It doesn't end there. There are over more than 200 colorants and additives they use in this ink, you guys. These toxic heavy metals, even arsenic, is in the tattoo ink. We have to wake up. Stop letting people get these tattooed. The Bible talked about not getting tattooed because you're destroying your human body, which is your temple, which is God's temple. So say it how you want to say it, but getting tattooed is not healthy for us. I could go on for a 20-minute video talking about all the negatives and the side effects of getting these tattoos, but you really just have to think about it for a second, bro. You're stabbing this ink into your body. You're stabbing yourself thousands of times with a needle. This is not natural. This is not something that is going to ever serve you, and there's a reason why it hurts. Whether you push through the pain or not, it's not something you should be doing to your body.
Are glasses a scam? These are my prescription glasses that I got to ditch because I educated myself, I changed my diet and lifestyle, I wrote a book on this. Watch this video, tell me what you think, if you really need to keep using these glasses, or do you really think that there's more to it?
You go to the eye doctor, they give you glasses, you put them over your eyes, you go back to the eye doctor again, the doctor says, well, your prescription's a little worse, we should give you thicker ones. So you go back and they give you thicker ones, and then you have now thicker glasses, and you keep coming back till your eyes and your glasses are like this thick, you know, they're like so thick like this, that you can't even see anything, because these things have completely blocked the UV spectrum and every spectrum you need to see to heal. And you're not using them anymore, because you got glasses to do the work for you. If you don't use it, you lose it, and if you don't feed it, it's gonna fall apart. So how does it make sense to keep going back to the same person who's telling you to keep putting these thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker glasses on, and then your eyes are going to get better? It doesn't make any sense. But if you started training them, start doing eye exercises, give them some structured water, they begin to heal, and you can see again. And it's remarkable because we can reverse everything. We are self-regenerating beings.
Stop brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth is bad. Let me explain. 99% of people in this generation use plastic toothbrushes. You may say, what is the problem with that? Plastic toothbrushes have nylon bristles which contain microplastics. Every time you brush your teeth, millions of microplastic bits enter your system. This usually causes canker and leads to a worse life. If you want to avoid this, then you can use a more natural alternative. What I recommend is using something called a miswak stick.
Every time I expose something, I always provide a solution. I explain how they use 666 nylon plastics, even in your bamboo toothbrush. Most toothbrushes are made from single-use plastic and can contain nasty chemicals like BPA. They're not hiding this, they tell you plain as day. I mean, you really have to ask yourself if this is a coincidence. To mention the 1 billion toothbrushes that get trashed each year just by the USA. So I invented a toothbrush with miswak bristles, which is known to be one of the most beneficial things you can ever possibly use as a toothbrush. So I invented and patented the healthiest toothbrush. A toothbrush is always available in my link tree, where I also offer a bunch of other recommendations.
Bread is not healthy.
Bread is not bread, and it's absolutely horrible for you. See, to get the fluffy, sweet, delicious bread millions of Americans love to eat, you need a few very special ingredients, like potassium bromate, an additive that makes bread rise, or azodicarbonamide, a chemical to bleach and strengthen the dough. Do you know where else you can find these chemicals? In yoga mats, pesticides, and even explosives. And all these chemicals have one thing in common. They can cause all sorts of cancer. That's why the European Union, the UK, and even China have banned them from food production. But not in America. To this day, the FDA says these additives are generally recognized as safe to eat. Ah, yes.
Want to hear another conspiracy theory that you probably don't know is going to blow your mind? Let's do it. So, you know Monster Energy. The M, you know, it looks like a claw, right? Yeah. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that the strokes of the M don't fully connect right. So, yeah, each stroke looks like a 1, you know. But actually, it's a sign in Hebrew that means 6. So, the 3 strokes together, it gives us 666 by coincidence. And as you know, that's the devil's number, right? That's not all. Because when you really look at the Monster logo, there's this O with like a cross right in it. I think you should really save this video because it will be censored, like for sure. They say it's like a coincidence that when you drink the can upside down, the cross is inverted, like an occult symbol. It adds something else to their logo, referencing the devil. And wait, don't forget their slogan, Unleash the Beast. All this put together makes you think, right? Yeah. The slogan, the logo, and the cross on top, it must really be intentional on their part. But honestly, why did Monster decide to brand themselves like this?
Stop drinking Prime. They're using forever chemicals and they're being sued for it. 3 times the safe amount to ever endure in a human being's life they have in these drinks.
In one Prime hydration drink, they found 3 times the amount of PFOs that you should consume in drinking water in your life.
And why is this really surprising? And you really need to ask yourself if you're still taking the bait from these celebs. They keep offering all these poisons and telling you they're healthy. We keep consuming this stuff. So really, it kind of comes down on you. If you're still being so surprised by this stuff, it's really time to wake up. You can't be that blown away by seeing these fools promoting this stuff and learning that it's all poison. Never mind that this drink also has citric acid in it, which almost every drink has. Not only are PFAS found in aerospace and automotive construction, as well as electronics industries, but also in the water and food.
So I'm flipping through this book and I see an Oreo, and my high hungry ass is like, that looks good, but hold on, wait, what? There's no way the Leviathan crosses on this cookie. Yes, it is. What?
Invisible. Bam, I'm at In-N-Out. They said go to In-N-Out. I just came right over. It was right down the street. If you look in the background, it is packed. They do they got the warning sign here? Yeah, but they try to put a clear coat on it. Yeah. Oh, there go warning. You see that motherfucker got a clear coat. Certain foods and beverages sold or served here can expose you to chemicals including acrylamide and many fried or baked goods and mercury and fish, which are known to the state of California to cause cancer or birth defects or other reproductive harm. Can y'all see it? See it? Oh, you gotta go right here to see it. Bam! See how they try to put the clear coat acrylic on it? Uh-huh. And these are the facts. Caught their ass slipping too, They thought they were gonna have to go inside to see something. No, caught them right at the door.
Did you know fragrance can be over 4,000 chemicals? Fragrances consist of a mixture of essential oils or other volatile aromatic compounds, often synthetic. Of course, they're often synthetic. Almost always are they using the synthetic variant of anything over the natural or the essential oils. They do this on purpose. It's cheaper to use the chemicals, and they prefer the chemicals over the natural substances. Yes, of course, these are the same volatile chemicals that they add to scented candles. You know, they tell you to breathe in these scented candles. When you learn what the scent actually is made of, you learn that there's no therapy involved here, that there are actually over 4,000 potential chemicals in this. And for those who are going to jump in here and say that this is healthy and that they're using natural things to make these fragrances they use in all these products, just take a look at some of these carcinogenic, extremely volatile, toxic compounds they use to make this so-called fragrance that they put in almost everything. Here's a perfect example. Let's take this Safely laundry detergent, for example. They tell you right here that it's a luxury scent and it's plant-based and it's stain fighting and it's fabric brightening and it's calm, right? It's really calm, but then you have to turn these things around and you have to read the ingredients. These are just a bunch of chemicals. They tell you this is based on plants. It's just because they use 1 or 2 plants in the ingredients, but you have to look because look, the ingredient fragrance right there, that is going to most likely almost always be just a bunch of random ass toxic chemicals. These other chemicals, they tell us this. These are all carcinogenic type compounds. These are all created in laboratories and they rub up in and on your skin all day. And you do end up consuming this on some degree. And it's a slow penetration, but they're definitely doing these things on purpose. And of course, wouldn't you know it, there's your infamous citric acid. Contact the poison control immediately. You see the ADA stamp? Who the hell is the ADA? Who the hell is this? Sounds like the FDA. Womp womp. These fools don't give a shit. Do we see it? Contact poison control immediately if you consume this product. You have to be over 12 years old to use this toothpaste. Or else it can unalive you. Slowly but surely. And then they put the fluoride in here, guys. They tell you in the warning label that this fluoride will stain your teeth and you gotta go to the dentist and get the stains removed. Fluoride's supposed to protect your teeth. Nope. You learn that we're in a fake-ass, lying-ass world. Are you still shopping at consumer poison markets? Are you still buying these consumer products? When you wake up, you learn that everything in here has some kind of toxin or poison, formaldehyde and bleach, all in these white products. All of these are a bunch of chemicals. You're just soaking these chemicals into your skin and they smell good, but they're just toxic chemicals. And you go over to the toothbrushes, they're made of plastic. They break down plastic in your mouth and they wear out your teeth enamel. The body wash, it's a bunch of chemicals. Flip the thing around and look at the ingredients. It's a bunch of chemicals and they get you at every angle, guys. You learn about the toothpaste having fluoride. The toothpicks are made of plastics. And all these are just a bunch of random ass chemicals. Lotion soaking chemicals into your skin. Pepto-Bismol is literally made of heavy metal. It's called bismuth metal. Tums are made of chalk. And Tylenol, these are all based on petroleum. Okay? And as you continue down the rabbit hole, you learn they have the forever chemicals in all of these Band-Aids. So they're literally getting you at every angle. If you're not watching your back, going through this store, being a consuming bot, they will get you. And it's all about awareness. You have to ask yourself what these products actually are. They're not real.
And then you have to ask yourself about what you're putting into your mouth. These products are all literally synthetic. There's nothing real at this store. I just had a huge day of spraying over my house, and then it rained strangely the next day, and now I've got a nice film of dust over my car, so I wanted to do the smart dust test. Okay, you can see the heavy metals. I can see metal flakes in this dust already, and we're gonna put the magnet to it. So let's do a zoom close up here. Look again how this stuff sucks right up into the magnet. It's holding it. This is straight up magnetic dust. This is just the dust that recently has fallen on this car. Have you ever wondered what triple washed means on your organic lettuce? What did you wash it with? It's chlorine bleach. Let's go down the rabbit hole.
According to Consumer Reports, triple washed or ready-to-eat greens typically are rinsed to remove dirt, debris, and grit, then washed in water that contains chlorine or another sanitizer, and finally rinsed. But this doesn't necessarily get rid of the bacteria that can cause food poisoning.
So you like pre-washed lettuce mixes? The FDA encourages lettuce to be washed with a bleach solution to kill harmful bacteria. The greens are treated with a mix of water and a food-grade sanitizing agent like chlorine. The problem is traces of bleach are left on the lettuce. Chlorine produces free radicals in the body, which trigger cell damage, and they are highly carcinogenic, even in small amounts. Take note.
They're telling us plain as day, they're not hiding it, that they're bleaching your lettuce, and they're telling you that bleaching it doesn't even get rid of all the bacteria or any of the bacteria, as well as the E. coli. So you really need to ask yourself, what is the purpose of using the bleach? Can't you just use a water solution to rinse the dirt off of the organic lettuce? But it doesn't kill it. So at this point, man, we really need to understand that they're getting us at every level, and we have to educate ourselves about everything that goes in our mouths. We need to know where it comes from and what they're spraying on it.
Did you know that Vaseline is petroleum jelly, which is the exact product that you make gasoline, which just happens to rhyme with Vaseline? I know this is going to upset a lot of people, but this is something that needs to be discussed. Manufacturers make petroleum jelly from the leftover petroleum material from oil and gas production. Manufacturers refine the hydrocarbon compounds to create petroleum jelly to filter out any impurities. And remember that they recommend you put this on and in your vape. There are many side effects and toxic compounds found in petroleum products, and you really have to ask yourself, when has a petroleum product ever been healthy for human beings? Now, they'll tell you that there's no health concerns when this is properly refined, right? But then you read further how this petrolatum is not really refined in the US. It's refined somewhere else that has a lot of contaminated toxic chemicals. Also keep in mind, just because you don't have insane reactions to this stuff right away doesn't mean it's not harming you in the long run. Also keep in mind this petroleum will trap these things in your skin because it is a synthetic oil. It is not assimilating with the human body. Again, petroleum doesn't assimilate with the human body, so we need to understand that it's going to cause adverse reactions, which petroleum jelly happens to have a whole lot of these carcinogens. As to no surprise, Europe has already gotten rid of this stuff because of the carcinogens in it. Honestly, I can make this a 10-minute video of all the side effects and negatives of using petroleum on your human body. What's the good news here? This one's very simple, man. You guys can use all kinds of different natural oils on your skin as opposed to using this petroleum byproduct that they've tricked us into using our whole life. This is going to be a very difficult one to talk about, but it needs to be done. And unfortunately, ladies, this one is for you if you wear makeup. I'm here to tell you the evil you've been putting on your face. If you knew it, you wouldn't be doing it. The first and foremost, most of the makeup is made with petroleum. And when it's not petroleum, it's things like castoreum. What is castoreum? This comes from the anal sac of a beaver that secretes this to ward off predators, okay? Also, they use things like cochineal. What is the cochineal? This is a bug that secretes a poison called carmine that you put into your skin and you absorb this bug's poison. It's a defense toxin. They also put things like shellac, which they use to coat the conventional produce as well. But shellac is an excretion from a beetle that poops this out on a branch. They scrape this off and they process it like anything else, and they have to use toxic chemicals to make it into something they use for products in food and makeup. So they've got you putting these things like the lacquer bug. This is what's considered the shellac bug, and this is just happens to be called lacquer, but you have to ask yourself if these guys are evil behind what they're doing. So what do I recommend for the ladies? There are plant-based makeups, but a lot of times they'll base them on plants and they'll still add a bunch of chemicals and petroleum to it. So what do I recommend? Being as natural as you can.
Family member just brought this to my attention on his NASA shirt here. He says that this aluminum from his deodorant is getting trapped in his armpits and it's not washing out of his shirt. We have to understand this is destroying our bodies from within. Our bodies are absorbing these heavy metals on different levels, and we have to understand that this is completely toxic. This is absolutely insane. These companies should literally be sued from putting these heavy metals into our bodies.
And now your guy Biden has come through and officially banned these incandescent lights. It just so happens that these lights are a lot healthier for your human body than these efficient LED lights that are full of all these toxins. Check it out.
According to Grounded Solutions, toxins in LED lights, it's well known that LEDs contain lead, arsenic, and other potentially harmful substances. A study published in 2010 in Environmental Science and Technology specifically identified low-intensity, red LEDs as most often containing the highest amount of toxic materials. According to Language Selection, Public Health, European Union, LED lights emit optical radiation that potentially damage the eyes and skin. According to blue light glasses, standard LED lights are not full-spectrum light. They contain extremely high level of blue light and are very void of the rest of the color spectrum of yellow. In addition to phototoxicity and retinal damage, LED lighting affects sleep quality. The ANSES report found exposure to blue light from LEDs, especially during the evening, disrupts the body's circadian rhythm and can lead to sleep problems.
Take a quick look at the dark truth about these LED light bulbs that everybody is replacing in their homes, businesses, and everywhere else all around the world. Check this out.
Lights out for the incandescent bulb, and I feel like I've been saying this for 15 years.
Yeah, ding, somebody had a bright idea. The Biden administration announced that it's moving forward with the ban as part of its energy efficiency and climate agenda.
The DOE warning manufacturers and retailers about the change at the beginning of the year, with full enforcement beginning in August. Manufacturers who violate the ban could face a maximum penalty of $542 per bulb.
For the first time, the EPA is limiting the amount of so-called forever chemicals found in drinking water. The new rule targets synthetic chemicals known as PFAs, which are linked to serious health effects, including an increased risk of cancer. The chemicals can be found in the tap water supplying hundreds of millions of Americans. The EPA now requiring water companies to lower 6 types of PFAs to near zero levels. Water utilities will have up to 5 years to reach that goal. The bipartisan infrastructure law provides $9 billion to help with the contamination.
Those who don't know, the EWG has been telling us that they've had forever chemicals in our tap water for years. Now, most people are really good at ignoring these things. They don't want to hear it, nor do they want to deal with it. But right here, they tell us plain as day, just because something's legal doesn't make it safe. And getting a passing grade from the federal government does not mean the water meets the latest health guidelines. Legal limits for contaminants in tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years. So if they've known this stuff all along, but they're just now outlawing it, who are these entities? Who are these people? And where did they come from? And why did they just now start doing their job? Let's ask the FDA the same question. Why are things being approved that are unaliving people on a daily basis? But because these things are happening at a slower rate, they get away with these things. So we learned the tricks to their game. We learned that they're setting this all up on purpose, and we're paying attention and we're waking up to the lies and the deceit, and it's time to do something about it.
This footage is 100 years old. It shows part of the military exercises that took place off the east coast of the United States between 1921 and 1923. The Martin MB-2 airplane is emitting a trail of chemical smoke that rains down to the surface of the ocean, forming a dense smoke curtain hundreds of feet tall. The smoke is created from a highly toxic chemical called titanium tetrachloride. It's a colorless liquid that reacts with air moisture to form the smoke you see here, which consists of hydrated titanium acid and hydrogen chloride. It is dangerous to work with, an irritant to respiratory systems, and can corrode metal. It's not hard to imagine how this process of delivering huge chemical payloads by airplanes at altitude would be important to later developments in geoengineering and cloud seeding. If they were doing this 100 years ago, imagine what they can do now.
So when it rains in Dubai, it makes bubbles. I don't know if it's called cloud seeding, but those are bubbles. I've never seen this in my life.
The UAE government invested more than $20 million in research to start a process called cloud seeding. The UAE performs around 1,000 hours of cloud seeding a year, and it's all controlled by this building in the National Center of Meteorology in Abu Dhabi, where they track the whole process. We met with a cloud seeding expert to explain how the seeding process works.
We wait the forecast. When we have good chance for a cloud, we send the aircraft to that location. It go under the cloud. In the first stage of the cloud, there is good updraft at that time. Start to release all the salt, and with the good updraft, of course, it will go inside the cloud. The droplets will become bigger and start to rain.
The center manufactures a salt substance that helps enhance rainfall. They put them in what they call flares.
Truth in plain sight.
Hey, you guys want to go bowling tonight?
We're busy.
Yeah, we got things to do. Like what?
It's a secret.
Shut up. So anyway, Lenny and Carl are never around on Wednesdays, and they don't tell me where they go. It's like a conspiracy.
Conspiracy, eh? You think they might be involved in the Kennedy assassination?
I do. No. Anyway, I'm going to follow them tonight and see where they go.
Don't start stalking people again. It's so illegal. I don't want you stalking anyone tonight.
Oh, okay. Head it your own way, Marge.
There's a secret meeting place.
Yes, let's go inside.
Sounds good.